The following audio recording has been designed for learning purposes only. Do not share, distribute, or provide any type of copies, or this audio lesson will not be made available to you. Good luck with today's lesson.
This is where I go with my private one. Okay, kinds of speeches. So there are different kinds of speeches, okay? And you guys gave a manuscript, right? A manuscript speech. And what's a manuscript speech, we said? What kind of defines that?
Reading off the paper.
Yeah, you're reading off the paper. Pretty much the kind most people like to give because it's, they say, the easiest, right? I mean, you just read it, right? I mean, you got it in front of you, you're reading it, and that's all there is to it. But what do we say it's the hard part? You can't look at your audience, right? I mean, you've only got one pair of eyes. You're either looking at the paper or you're looking at the audience. And we said looking at the audience, you should be looking at the audience up to 80, 90% of the time. That's tough. It's tough for any kind of speech, any given speech. But when you're looking at the speech and reading it, you can't look at them. So it's tough. It's tough to use gestures, but that's the kind people like. It's just human nature, I think. You want to read it, all right? When we talk about writing notes and outlining, a lot of people want to bring a copy of their outline up here with them, and even that you shouldn't do, okay? But manuscripts, it's the kind people like, all right? Because you just kind of fall back to that. We did say one thing too. In your next speech, which I'm not going to go into too much today, a lot of people might use, and it might be okay, memorization. Memorizing a speech. Why should you never try to memorize a speech? I mean, some people look like they do. Some people do. Look, you might have gone to a speech where the speaker looks like, oh man, she's memorized this. She's got no notes. You don't see any kind of teleprompter or anything. So it looks like they've memorized it, okay? You probably haven't. But why should you, when I say memorizing, I mean trying to memorize it word for word. Why should you not try to memorize a speech? Yeah.
Because you can still forget. Like, you'll still blank.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe you've seen someone do that, all right? Maybe you've seen someone who has tried to memorize a speech. And this is awful. I've seen this too much. But, you know, they're giving a speech, they're going along okay, maybe they're doing great. And then they forget a word. Maybe they forget a sentence. And then, bam, they just freeze up. All right? They just like, whoa. And then the whole house of cards just falls. It's like, they're kind of like a robot with some malware gets in there, some kind of virus, just like everything just freezes, everything falls apart. That can happen when you try to memorize a speech. All right, the first time you forget something, oh my gosh, now where am I? And everything just collapses. So that's the biggest thing. If you try to memorize a speech and suddenly you forget, everything falls apart. Plus, a lot of times if you memorize a speech, you sound robotic. You sound like, you're just up here reciting something, okay, this and this and this and this. You focus so much on trying to recite everything that you've learned, you don't sound very good, all right? And again, here's the thing. I'm trying to think of times where maybe you might have seen someone where it looks like they've memorized. I don't know why, maybe because I watched over the weekend, like on PBS or something, or sometimes you might have seen someone who's walking around the audience and they're like kind of going free form and they're talking like that, and like, wow, that guy must have memorized that speech. No, he's probably given that speech so many times, it's not the exact same speech. A week before he gave it, he might have left out some paragraphs, maybe he moved some sentences around. So it's not the exact same speech. He hasn't really memorized it. He knows the whole routine pretty well, that he can change it every time, and it's never the same thing. But he knows the basics, okay? You can maybe do that if you've given the same speech enough that you know it well, okay? I'm talking memorizing it word for word. You really shouldn't do that. You really shouldn't. You're playing with fire. It's tempting, though. Okay, the one you should do is, of course, the longest one, extemporaneous. I should underline that one too. That's the one we're going to be focusing on. Extemporaneous. That is basically using note cards. Or, some girl in the last class, let's see if I still have it. She found on her phone, she found an app that she said works really well. I think it's just called Notes or something. Well, I'll look for it. On her phone. But basically you're using just note cards. whether it's on your phone or you're using 3x5 cards or 4x6 cards or 5x7 cards or something like that. You're using note cards, okay? And you've just got a few words on each note card. Now, ideally, you just practiced your speech enough so that you just have to see a few words on that note card. You see a few words, bam, okay, that's all I need. I remember what I have to say now. You know, see a few words, okay, you don't have to look anymore. And then you can look at your audience and you know what to say, all right? That's ideal. That's what we're going to be looking for, all right? Don't be like Sarah Palin, who once got caught because she wrote her notes in her hand in a speech, and someone saw it and said, whoa, don't do that. If nothing else, you might get so nervous, you might get sweaty and I wrote your notes. It's like, oh, then you're really a reason to sweat, okay, because you have nothing to go by. But extemporaneous is really ideal, okay, because you aren't looking at the notes too much. You're looking primarily at your audience. You haven't tried to memorize anything, and you can still use gestures and eye contact. Okay, there's a fourth one, which I'll mention, but we're going to talk more about because your very last speech is this impromptu. Can I even tell you what impromptu is? Yeah.
Don't you just like kind of, it like comes on the fly?
Yeah, it goes on the fly, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, you know, Houston, welcome to class. I want you to come up here and give a speech about this, okay? It's a speech many of you have already given. I pretty much guarantee every one of you will have to give one someday, okay? It's the one that a lot of people are scared of. You shouldn't be scared. We'll talk about what you can do about that. But an impromptu speech is one, there's no pre-planning involved, all right? There's not much you can do about that, all right? So come on up and give a speech, okay? That's going to be your last speech in class, okay? So, having said that, you guys are going to hate every time I clean up my desk. There we go. I didn't see anyone with this problem. I can't, and you're not going to see someone with this problem when they're giving a manuscript speech. These are called fillers. Whenever you're up here and you go give a speech and you say, something like that. Don't be nervous if you think, oh God, that's going to be me. First of all, you're probably not doing as often as you think. I don't know if you want to copy it. But it really isn't as big a problem for students as you might think it is. It really isn't. However, if you think it is a problem, this is a very interesting way of getting over it. You might want to take a few minutes just to read it. We'll talk about it. And you know, I'm getting out early again. There's always tricks. Coincidentally, every country has their own ums and uhs. I used to have another article, I can't find that, where they don't say, in other countries they don't say and uhs, they say other tits. But it is, first of all, you may think that's all I do in my speech, is say uhs. No one does it as often as you think you do. It's hard not to. This is a good practice. In another class I taught, we did this more. We actually did this. Everyone did it. It's more difficult than you might think it is. All right. There's going to be a lot more pauses. You're going to have to pause a lot more than you think you're going to have to. But if it is a concern for you, if it is something that you think, I'm going to be doing this a lot, you might want to practice it. Maybe not out loud, maybe not. Well, you should do it out loud, but maybe not with the audience or anything like that. But it's something to consider. One other thing, I said I'd update the syllabus if it's different, because I did give you the syllabus prior to getting the book myself. I don't have to. There's no changes. I'm not sure exactly what they changed in the textbook. I'm sure there are changes. I have to meet with the head of the department. But the syllabus I gave you still works. So just don't throw it away. Don't throw it in the fire or anything. It still works. Keep going with that. Keep going with the readings. And on Thursday we'll meet and talk about whatever to sign on that day. Any questions? Your next speech we'll talk about on Thursday. It's only 45 seconds long. It's one the students like. It's one I hate. It's hardly enough time to take the cap off the pen. When is it? You're making me take out my syllabus. Sophia and Shirley, stick around. I've got your one speech to get back to. But the speech is good. We're good today. A little bit too much on the phone from the audiences. Watch that. Your next speech is.
Good luck with today's lesson.